MediaMath, when we think of video, we think about how it fits into our omni-channel story, our ability to reach the consumer with the marketer's message on the right screen in the right way at the right time. And video plays such an important role for that first exposure, the upper funnel branding. More importantly, being able to mix TV into that as well. So the first time a viewer is exposed to a brand's message or that brand's story, doing so on the big TV screen in a full screen, fraud-free, measurable environment through connected TV pipes, either directly with the networks or through SSP partners, allows us to really start the storytelling and then find that same user, same household, same viewers on other screens, either for down funnel messaging in web video, mobile video, or even display.
Cool. And tell us about, the clients and how demand is building and where it's building. And we're also quite interested in this whole direct-to-consumer category that's so hot now, it seems.
Yeah, so there's really two classes of buyers that we're working with. We're working with the digital buyers who for the first time want to be able to say, I have these great digital video assets that I want to extend out to TV. I want to be able to get into shows and tentpole events that I've never been able to get into before. That really bodes well for the direct-to-consumer brands who probably are not working with what would be considered a traditional agency, grew up on the web, grew up in the idea of one-to-one messaging, measurable messaging. Programmatic really fits well into that pipe, especially for TV, which is why direct-to-consumer is so big for us.
Cool. And I wanted to ask you about the supply side, the plugging in and sort of what's happening from your perspective with video SSPs and sort of how they're changing, the ecosystem's changing, what makes you comfortable, what is difficult?
Yeah, so as video SSPs continue to evolve, our model really is to focus on running on the rails that the publisher wants us to run on. So a lot of our partners, they'll leverage Talaria or other video SSPs as their connection point for us into their inventory. It allows us to connect to multiple supply sources. It allows them to connect to multiple demand sources without having to do one-to-one integrations for all the networks. But at the end of the day, we're running on the pipes that the networks want us to be running on, which allows us to do some cool things. It allows us to work with the SSP partners and the networks to allow show title to be passed, or more information about their users, or do something to enhance the bid stream to tell us more information about the user, what they're watching, what other shows they've watched. Another really exciting thing we're working on is being able to know how long somebody's been in a viewing session. That first exposure, if someone's spending 4 hours binging TV content, being able to hit them early with a message is so much more memorable and important than hitting somebody later in a binge session with a message. And working with the SSPs, we're really able to determine how many ads that person has seen and use that to determine bidding.
So Mike, tell us a little bit about AI. I know you work closely with IBM, and how is AI sort of becoming part of the operational reality, or where might it be? Yeah,
so everything we're doing is grounded in the idea of some level of machine learning or our brain algorithms to dictate the best path to that user, the most expedient impression to that user, and how to find that user and that household in other impressions. So being able to set up a strategy in our system that says, this is what our outcomes are, this is where we want to be spending, but make sure we're surfacing the right message and the right creative at the right time for that person without needing to set up a separate strategy for video and a separate strategy for TV and a separate strategy for display. Letting it all talk to each other, letting it all optimize across full funnel.
Cool. And what about the supply of creative and sort of where that stands? And we talk about bespoke creative and sort of one-to-one creative almost.
It really depends on what type of video you're using. So for reaching a viewer on connected TV, we recommend that marketers are using their same spot, their same creative that they would use in linear TV. It is that traditional 30-second spot for massive reach and frequency. Once you get further down the purchase funnel of that user and you want to start to say, I'm trying to drive traffic to the website, or I'm trying to drive foot traffic in store, really being able to build off of that first video impression with down funnel video creative that is more customized to the marketer's needs is very important.
And is that happening, or will it happen?
So it's happening now, and that's really one of the ways that we're leveraging our algorithms and our brain learning to understand that this person has seen this first ad as part of that story that we want that household to see, and be able to tell that full story throughout the entire marketing flow. It still has a little bit of ways to go. We're still not saying, dealing with 10,000 different versions of a piece of creative. But some of our smarter clients are saying, that after that first impression happens with that mass market creative, then start focusing more on driving a message for that specific user based on what we know about that user and their online behaviors.